Sit back, relax and enjoy listening. The chaos outside reaches its boiling point. The deafening chants, the flashing cameras, the aggressive shoving. It all escalates too fast. Security struggles to hold back the crowd, their shouts drowned in the overwhelming noise. The media swarms like vultures, yelling questions, pushing microphones forward, desperate for a reaction. And then, the moment things turn truly dangerous, people in the crowd, blinded by rage, lift their hands. Some grip crumpled papers, others clutch bottles, their fingers tightening around them, ready to hurl. The tension in the air is thick enough to cut. One more second, and the first object will be thrown. But then, a sleek black car rolls up to the scene. It doesn't need to screech to a halt. It doesn't need to announce its presence with blaring horns. No, the moment it arrives, it commands attention. The crowd, once wild and untamed, freezes mid-motion. The raised hands ready to throw slowly lower. Cameras that have been flashing relentlessly stop. Microphones, which have been shoved into people's faces, slowly fall away. A suffocating silence wraps around the chaos like an iron grip. And then the door opens. A single foot touches the pavement. Silence. Immediate and absolute. Not the awkward, confused kind. The kind that comes from deep, instinctual fear. Heads instinctively lower. No one dares to look up. The ground beneath them suddenly becomes the most interesting thing in the world. Reporters, who have spent their careers shoving their faces into people's personal space, now find themselves stepping back. No one needs to ask who she is. They know. The air shifts. A weight settles upon the crowd, pressing down on their chests, making it suddenly difficult to breathe. And then she steps out, dressed in her signature elegance, sunglasses shielding her eyes, her posture effortlessly commanding. She doesn't have to look at anyone, doesn't have to acknowledge the people who had just moments ago been tearing RK apart with their words. Now they find themselves stepping back, as if their own survival instincts have overridden their ambition. Not because security orders them to, not because someone pushes them aside. No, they move on their own. Because they know. Because they understand what it means to be in this person's way. Fear settles in their bones, as natural as breathing. She ascends the stairs, each step amplifying the fear in the air. No one dares to stop her. No one even dares to look up. She doesn't have to tell them to move. They just do. Like prey instinctively avoiding a predator. As she climbs the stairs, the reporters start scattering in silence. No one makes a sound, afraid to break her path, too afraid to catch her attention. Microphones are dropped, cameras are turned off. Men and women who have spent their careers chasing stories run for their lives, too afraid to even look back, vanishing from the scene before she even reaches the top of the stairs. It's as if they had never been there. RK's team stands frozen, their eyes wide. In mere seconds, she erases a storm that they have spent days struggling against. Not with violence, not with threats, not with words, just her presence. RK, who has been drowning in despair, lost in the cruelty of the world, suddenly finds himself pulled back into reality. And in that moment, all he can do is stare, like the other members. SV reaches the top of the stairs, her posture straight, unshaken by the chaos she has just walked through. She doesn't pause. She doesn't acknowledge the stunned faces around her. It's as if they don't exist. RK's team stands frozen, their minds struggling to catch up with what just happened. Members watch her. They have seen power before. They have worked alongside influential people, stood in the presence of those who commanded entire industries. But this is different. This is real power. Even the president, with all the influence and authority at his disposal, couldn't hold back the media or control the chaos. But here she stands, effortlessly and without intention, doing what no one else could. The kind that doesn't need to be announced. The kind that is simply understood. SV continues walking unbothered. She doesn't even glance at RK, doesn't give the team a second look. Her focus is elsewhere, where no one knows. And no one dares to ask. RK, still standing where he was moments ago, slowly exhales. His fingers tremble at his sides, not from fear, but from something else. Something deeper. Something he can't name. She walks past him without a word. Jill exhales shakily, his grip tightening on his phone. The team around him shifts uncomfortably. RK finally moves. His body turns slightly, his gaze following her. She doesn't look back. She never does. And just like that, she disappears beyond the doors, leaving behind nothing but silence and the ghosts of those who dared to stand in her way. Not a single word is spoken, and yet she has ended the storm. SV has changed nothing, yet she has changed everything.